Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Sarvamangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharannitrambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Mahalakshmi Rupena Samstita Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha Sarvamangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharannitrambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Om Aim Rim Glim Chamundai Viche Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Shri Sadguru Bhyo Namo Namaha Om Gunatito Aksharam Brahma Bhagavan Purushottamah Jano Janandidam Satyam Muchyate Bhava Bandhanat Om Bhagavate Shri Swami Narayanaya Namaha Om Shri Lakshmi Narayanaya Namaha Om Shri Nar Narayanaya Namaha Om Shri Krishna Narayanaya Namaha Om Shri Shiva Narayanaya Namo Namaha Om Trambakam Yajame Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityar Mukshyamamritat Namah Shivaya Shri Hanumate Namaha. Welcome to Nitya Satsang, Daily Satsang. Today is the 27th of November 2022. We are continuing our exploration of Shri VIVEKCHUDAMANI. VIVEKCHUDAMANI is a beautiful exposition by Adi Jagat Guru Shankaracharya ji, written for the purpose of awakening each human being into that state of Viveka, that state of what ought to be understood, what can be understood as real. So the distinction between real and unreal is what is talked about in VIVEKCHUDAMANI. We have been examining verse number 65, and in examining that verse we see that there is this teaching about the instructions of a competent person, the instructions given by the various gurus on various paths. We have been examining that. We have already stated before, and we will go into it further, that there are major paths, marga, bhakti yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyan yoga, mantra yoga, sankhya yoga, akshar yoga, purushottam yoga. So many yogas are there. So the word yoga is connection. So the instructions given by the gurus, those instructions are given in terms of doing sadhana. So now we have also covered that word before. Sadhana is activity performed by the mind, by the body, by the individual to reach a certain evolution, to reach a certain realization. So sadhana by itself is an activity. It's a specific type of activity to evolve further. Sadhana is necessary in every aspect of life. There is no question about that. Sadhana is something which we have to do because we are in the body. There is activity to be done with the body. The question becomes, when we perform activity in terms of karma yoga, there is something called yoga bhava. Yoga bhava is the attitude where we consider every action as an offering to the altar of God that enables us to drop the doership from the frame of our mind. So what does that mean? See, generally human beings say that I'm doing, the doership is me, I'm doing this, I get the result, the I is there. But in Karma Yoga, the instructions given by Bhagavan Krishna, by all the great sages, is that you can drop the doership and offer the action at the feet of the Lord. How beautiful that is. That can be as small things that we can start with. So for example, if a student is studying a subject, they're studying a chapter, studying for an exam, they can take the whole action and offer it at the feet of God. So the doership is gone from that. When the action is offered at the feet of the Lord, there is no doership. So it is called karma yoga. The karma becomes yogic. The karma becomes liberating. The karma becomes beautiful. The karma is a way of not binding the individual anymore. So the instructions, what are the instructions specifically along these lines? That when we are performing any action, first remember Bhagavan, to remember God or great sages. Remember them, and then the action is performed correctly, clearly, properly. Any action. And then at the end of the action, it is again offered at the feet of God, at the altar of God. This is the idea. So when every action is offered this way, this is karma yoga. and the person is free. The individual is liberated from the binding aspect of action. Karma doesn't bind the individual anymore. What happens instead is that the action is a liberated action. It is a free action. It is a divine action. It is where the law of karma still acts, but the individual is not affected by the law of karma. Is it true that a person still gets the fruit of the action? Sure, of course. There's no question. If a student is studying for a good exam and they get a really good grade, getting the good grade is a fruit of the action. That is true. But the individual is happiness and or distress is not dependent on that fruit. The individual's happiness and distress is not present even. There is ananda present. So the ananda is in performing the action to please God, to please Bhagwan ki prasannata. So any action, this is called living spirituality. When we're interacting with our families, we're going for a job, we're students who are studying, we're trying to do some adhyatmic sadhana, we're trying to progress in the business, trying to progress career-wise. Any action, doesn't matter what the action is. Eating food, right? Having various meals of different kinds, exercising the body. Every action can be performed with a yoga bhava. Yoga bhava, yogic bhava. That yogic bhava is where the doership drops from the frame of the mind. This is the key point. That usually there's a sense that I'm doing this, I want this result, I want this to happen, that to happen, etc. But when that doership is not present, that is karma yoga. Now the question naturally will become, how can we live that kind of life? When everybody else is in this world living with the sense of me and I and doership and trying to, it's a struggle in many ways, and all of that is there. That doership is there. But when doership is not there, the action is actually very correctly performed. It is not inaction. Some people might say, wait a minute, if you're saying that I'm not to do anything, that I'm not the doer, then what? Does it mean I don't do anything? Wrong. No, it's not like that. The doership is left aside, not the doing. So for example, right now Sachin is giving a small exposition on VIVEKCHUDAMANI as an offering to the great sages and to the Lord. So if Sachin is thinking, oh, I am explaining something, I am doing this, then that is not karma yoga. That is my ahankar active, and I'm bound in the action. But the action that is performed for the beauty of the action. Action is performed to serve the Lord, to serve humanity. That's why a small recording is made. Why is that recording made? So we can put it on podcast as a service to humanity. So when it is done as a service, as a seva for humanity, the result, it doesn't disturb the individual. This is the whole point. So for example, if Sachin says, okay, I know I have to have so many people who are coming or doing this or doing that. No, it's not like that. Whoever comes, fine. No, doesn't come, fine. That is not in the mind. What is in the mind is the service to humanity. That is yoga bhav. So if that yoga bhav is there, then the connection is with Paramatma all the time. And if the yoga bhav is not there, and let's say, for example, hundreds and hundreds of people start coming to these to these daily satsangs and asking questions and all that. So Sachin thinks, oh my God, Sachin is something Sachin is trying to explain. That is not yoga bhav. That could happen, and still there can be yoga bhav. Yoga bhav is the key, that the doership is not present. So how do we transition from doership into non-doership? What is this transition? This is what is meant by the instructions of the Gurus. When Shankaracharya ji is talking about digging inside, the next word is Khananam, which we will talk about later on. But this Aptokitam is that where the instructions given by the enlightened beings, they are showing us the science of performing action. Well, what is this science? So when we perform action, there is always some sense that I am performing this action. To some extent that is needed, to a very limited extent. So like when I started today's satsang, there's a sense that, I have to, I am going to do this satsang, that I have to go to the Zoom. There's an I that is present there. that I is a functional, interactional I. No problem with that I. That is not the issue at all. That is not going to disturb the yoga bhav. The yoga bhav comes when the action is performed and it is performed to please Bhagavan. That is the bhakti. So that is a connection with bhakti and karma yoga. The connection between bhakti and karma is where the action is performed to please Bhagavan. That is called the combination of bhakti yoga and karma yoga. Now, another way to think about this, one can say, no, Sachin is not doing anything. Only the Brahman is doing. The one infinite consciousness is active, not me. Then that is Jnana Yoga. Jnana and the karma combined together. The point is that the me, other than that small functional me, is not present. We can do it, you can approach it through bhakti and connect with karma, can approach with Jnana and connect with karma, can also approach with yoga. It is also possible to approach with yoga. Now, in what way do we approach with yoga? Yoga in the sense, the Ashtanga yoga. It is possible. So, for example, when you're doing the pranayam, when somebody's doing the nostril breathing, the kumbhak rechak kriya, the different asanas are performed, yogic asanas. How does that connect with karma yoga? To some extent, one can do those asanas, and again, one is doing them without the sense of me doing them. That's a very beautiful way to connect the yogic asanas and the pranayam in the Ashtanga yoga with the karma yoga. So, for example, somebody is sitting on a lotus posture, they're doing some Shirsasana, or they're doing some particular asana. There's so many, there's 84 different asanas. Actually, there's thousands of asanas really, it's not just 84. When an asana is performed, it is performed with the intention of realizing the truth. If it's performed with that intention, the me goes away. Otherwise, sometimes people are experts in performing the asanas. They have expertise, and then they get a lot of praise from that. Oh my God, you're a great yogi, you're this, you're that. So a person is looking for praise from others. When the mind begins to look for praise or acknowledgement from others, there is doership. This is the basic truth. Even if one may get praise, no problem, leave it alone. One gets insulted, one gets blamed, one gets whatever, leave it alone. Tulya ninda stutirmauni santushta yena kenachit. Bhagavad Gita is very clear. Tulya bhav, equanimity. Whatever may happen, be steady, because the happiness and joy is not dependent on somebody else's vision or thinking or comments. We listen to that respectfully for improvement. That's a different matter. But individual's joy is swadhin, not paradhin. Swadhin means it is natural. It is naturally coming from within. That is called swadhin. And paradhin means it is dependent on what external circumstance, what others are saying, other people's opinions, praises, all those things. That distinction is huge. And that distinction is what creates the difference between yoga bhav and deha bhav. Deha bhav is that I'm doing this is me. Yoga bhav is the attitude. It is an attitude. It is a change in attitude. Change where every action, where we consider every action, where we see every action, retune every action as an offering at the feet of God, as at the feet of the altar of the divine. You can consider the divine as the universal power, consider the divine as an incarnation, as through one's guru, through a murti. It can be done in so many ways. So that dropping of the doership within the frame of the mind, from the frame of the mind, is the key. That I am not doing. There is doing, there is action, but I am not doing. This is one of the central teachings in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan Sri Krishna is telling Arjun, you are not the doer. You are just an instrument Sri Krishna says, I am the doer, meaning God is the doer. Bhagavan is doing. So he just said, you're just a nimitta, you're just an instrument. Consider yourself an instrument to perform your right action. That performing the right action at the right time, for the right reason, for the benefit of all, that is called dharma. So dharma and karma, the connection between dharma and karma is this much. Dharma is the action that is performed, that is the righteous action. It is sat acharan, sadachar. That is for the benefit of others and for oneself. That is called dharma. Dharma doesn't mean religious affiliation. So dharma, dharmic action, people think of it in terms of religion, but that's really not its meaning. Action that is for the benefit and development and goodness of all. That is dharma. All actions. So that dharma, that activity, that is dharma, performed with yoga bhava is nishkam karma, is karma yoga. So karma yoga is that attitude where the doership is not present, but the doing of dharma is present. So it is not the dropping of dharma. Dharma is performed all the way through until the end of the body. Just for the fact that we have to eat certain food, we have bodily functions, we are seeing, we are hearing. There's a dharma of each action, of each organ of the body, of each part of the body. So for example, if somebody says, my hands are there, hands have to be moved. There has to be exercise for the body. If there has to be movement of the body, otherwise the body will degenerate. It will become ill and sick very quickly. So that is dharma. One has to recognize what to do for the body. Sharir ka dharma. Then there is mansik dharma, how to keep the mind fresh. Mental dharma. Then there is dharma towards one's relatives and one's family members, one's co-workers, one's friends, one's circle of interaction. There is dharma there also. When you have a group of friends, there is some responsibility with them, towards them, etc. Right? So there is dharma is active in every area of life. In every area, in every aspect, dharma is active. But yoga bhav, see the word bhav. Bhav is the bhav through which yogic action is performed. So in this way, action is performed, but there is no me. The action is performed beautifully for its own beauty, for its own sake. For example, if you have a student who is studying in school, so that studying in the school is performed for the beauty of learning the material as correctly and as wonderfully and as perfectly as possible. The beauty of learning the material thoroughly. When one is in that bhav of learning and not getting obsessed with the grade, the person automatically gets an A. It's not striving for an A as a result, it is being an A. See, this is the point. In the Vibhuti Yoga, Bhagavan Krishna says, I am the letter A. What is the meaning of that Vibhuti? Vibhuti in that sense means it is the topmost state. It is a topmost state of living. It is a topmost state of being. It is a topmost state of learning. It is the very first step. That is perfection. Perfection in the sense, it is the perfection of action. So Bhagavan Krishna is talking about the perfection of action. You see, so to reach that stage of perfection, one is naturally in joy. One is not disturbed by the situations outside. One has dharmic interaction, the right actions, at the right time, and leaving it alone. And then from that one is able to interact with the society. One helps the society. One feels the great difficulties of the society and makes efforts to inspire others and to serve others in the area of one's influence. This is all part of Karma Yoga. So as part of Karma Yoga, one is not simply saying, oh, I'm a Karma Yogi, I don't do anything, who cares attitude. No. That's not Karma Yoga. One feels the the need for the society, and within one's ability of influence, area of influence, based on training, knowledge, skills, financial power, so many possibilities, so many factors. On that basis, a person interacts. But the interaction is again without raga and dvesha. And it is performed with the bhav, that karma yoga bhav, the yogic bhav of seva towards God. That is the bhakti idea. It is performed without raga and dvesha. So karma performed this way, it neutralizes raga and dvesha. See, this is so interesting. Rag is the attractions. So, okay, for example, somebody says, Sachin, you're a great person, you're this, you're knowledgeable, Sachin's ego is like boosting somewhere. Oh my God. Somebody, 5 other people say, you're an idiot, you're a fool, you're this bad person, this and that. So, oh my God, person is saying negative things about ego, comes back. See, tulya ninda stutir mauni. In the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan kya kehte? Tulya means equanimity. Somebody praises, okay, give that praise to God. You don't hang on to that. Somebody insults, you don't take it on. Say, leave it alone. You don't. It's not holding on to raga and dvesha, the likes and dislikes. So karma, meaning dharmic karma. Dharmic meaning for the benefit of all, not just religious karma. Dharmic means sad acharan. Acharan meaning activity performed in alignment with truth for benefit of all. Karma performed that way with yoga bhav, with the intention to connect with the supreme reality. With that attitude and approach, the neutralization of raga and dvesha occurs. And it occurs where the antakarana becomes pure. Antakarana shuddhi. Now see what happens here. The antakarana, which is the internal mental mechanism of the mind, the thoughts and emotions and feelings and desires and intentions and memories and all those things that are going on within us, they become pure. It is called antakarana shuddhi. It is called shuddhi, means purification. Now, who doesn't want a purified mind? How beautiful. Like when we drink water, do we drink water that has pollutants and bacteria and mud and dirt and all kinds of terrible poisons and all that inside there? No. We like to have purified water. We like to have spring water. We like to have clean water. Then we can drink that water. And we can also taste its purity. Similarly, the antakarana shuddhi is the purification that ensues due to the elimination of raga and dvesha, where the karma yoga takes hold. That karma yoga takes hold so beautifully, and that taking hold of this karma yoga is part of, these are the instructions given by the great sages. Bhagwan Krishna is in the form of Guru in the Bhagavad Gita. That's why it is written Krishnam Bande Jagat Gurum. Why Bhagwan Krishna is considered to be Jagat Guru? Because he is giving instructions. He is giving instructions to the whole of humanity. It is actually VIVEKCHUDAMANI who has written the Gita. But put the dialogue with Krishna and Arjuna. So those instructions, that this science of Karma Yoga is for the whole of humanity all the time. And that is called Jagat Guru. Krishnam Bande Jagat Guru. He's a guru for the whole world, in the past, now and in the future. It will not change. Because the purification that is needed, antakarana shuddhi, that is absolutely essential to realize the Atma, which is moksha. When we realize the Atma, you are a liberated being. That is Jivan Moksha, Jivan Mukti. See, now we see this connection beautifully. That actions performed with the yogic bhav, without raga dvesha. And what do? They purify the mind, antakarana shuddhi. And in that antakarana shuddhi, then that sets the stage for the light of the Atma to shine as is. Where the antakarana is uncluttered, unclutched, purified, not stuck anywhere. It is not stuck with praise or blame, with raga and dvesha. It's not stuck anywhere. And because of that, there is a profound impact on the individual who is doing this, and that individual has profound impact on all those who are around that individual. So it has a chain reaction. An enlightened being's presence impacts all around. Just like a lit lamp is going to dispel darkness all around. An awakened being, wherever the awakened being is shining the light of the Atma, the light of God everywhere. This is the beauty of this all. And that is the most interesting thing. That the agnan, the disease of agnan, the disease of ignorance that is hurting humanity disappears. So the Karma Yoga is a treatment. It is a type of spiritual treatment to purify our actions, to stabilize our actions, to stabilize our mind. Okay, so that's good enough for today. We will continue on this tomorrow further from multiple angles to describe all the yogas, and then we will go to the second word, that khananam. What is that digging deeper? What exactly is involved in that? We will go into that in much more depth later on.